so far. He's at a new school, and figuring out your identity is what middle school is all about, except Sam takes it to another level. Chris, please close your computer. Thank you. Sam takes it to another level because he's had to change all these schools, so every time he changes schools, he gets to, create his own identity. And so he went through a checklist of all these types of people he could be, and he's trying to figure out who he wants to be so he can impress this girl. Her name's Woody. She plays guitar. He seems intrigued by her. I think intrigued is a good word. And so far, what is his identity? Who is he so far? Go ahead. He's the shy kid, right? So he's shy. And it just kind of turned out that he was shy. Woody talked to him. He didn't say much. And he was like, okay, I could be shy, then I don't have to talk. So now he's the shy kid. And she said, what, are you shy? And he was like, eh. What else do they know about him?
He's very...
Let me go back to the book. So he plays it off like he's shy. Eli, I need you to go have a seat over behind Kellyanne and the desk over there, sir. Take your stuff with you. Easton, if this continues, I'm going to have to move you as well. Okay, so don't make it an issue, please. So, at the end of the last chapter, here's what he says. Woody talks to him. He walks off whistling the song that she was playing, and he says, okay, I was a shy whistler. Not much to pin a whole personality on, but it's a start. Yes, ma'am. No, wait till I'm done reading and I'll send you. Buddha meets Howling Monkey. That same day in social studies, I accidentally added a whole new facet to my pretend identity. Santa Dad was asking questions about the textbook reading assignment from the night before, The Spread of Buddhism, China and Japan. Now, admittedly, I hadn't done the reading the night before, but I already knew this stuff. I had even done a whole poster project on Taoism and Zen Buddhism. I've always liked poster projects, mostly because I love the smell of markers. Even though everyone obviously liked this Dowd guy, of course nobody raised a hand to answer anything he asked. Kids were squirming around, avoiding the dreaded teacher eye contact. Organizing folders, sharpening pencils that could have already sliced through Kevlar body armor. Woody was looking at me, which caused my big mistake. I wanted to smile at her, but I was afraid that would be unshy of me, so I turned away. Right into the twinkly baby blues of Mr. Dowd. Once he had me in an eye lock, I knew it was coming, but like a deer in headlights, I was powerless. Mr. Lee, can you explain how Buddhism was adopted and adapted in China? I actually did know this. And I was the perfect guy to answer it since I had been adopted from China. But was I the kind of shy kid who answered teachers' questions, or the kind who crumbled under the glare of full class scrutiny? Should I mumble, I don't know, fall off my chair again, faint, and hope Woody would seize the opportunity to revive me with some mouth-to-mouth? My eyes flashed over to the new love of my life. She was smiling encouragingly, but didn't necessarily look like she'd be ready to administer CPR if I needed it. So, what the heck? I took a stab at answering the question. Well, Indian Buddhism was brought to China by traders about 1,500 years ago. The story goes that a man named Bodhidharma was the first Zen master. He and his followers combined the basic ideas of Indian Buddhism with either Chinese traditions like Taoism and Confucianism to create Chan Buddhism, what the Japanese later called Zen. Chan means meditation, by the way. Had I really just said all of that? I guess I just decided what kind of shy kid to be. I took a breath, I looked around and saw that everyone was looking at me like I had just sprouted a second head, except Dowd and Woody, who were both smiling. Maybe acting smart had fringe benefits. Dowd nodded. Oh, very good, San. Have you studied Zen before? Oh, On the one hand, teachers usually avoided the topic of students' personal beliefs like the plague, but on the other, I realized that everyone in the room was probably thinking Chinese kid equals Buddhist, and Woody was still smiling. I played it cool. You could say that. A mysterious and knowing half smile played across my lips. Wow, I had a mysterious and knowing half smile. The lesson moved on, and I answered a bunch of other questions. Near the end of the period, angry kid, the large angry kid, in case I forgot to mention it, next to Woody, leaned across her and asked me in a booming voice, "So, Buddha boy, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound?" Now, a normal teacher might have jumped all over this guy for blatantly attacking the new kid, but Dowd just leaned back against the chalkboard and twinkled. I hoped his back was getting smeared with fluorescent chalk. On the other hand, I was pleased to note Woody looked irritated with the smirk the kid was now sporting. Shy or not shy, I wasn't going to roll over and turn into some steroid case's whipping boy. I replied quietly, calmly, "If a monkey howls and nobody listens, is he still a monkey?" There was a beat while everyone processed this. I can't do it. Then an intake of breath, followed by a wave of snickering. Two wimpy-looking guys I recognized from the chess table high-fived in delight. Somebody near the front of the room muttered, "Oh, snap, Jones just got told." Felt pretty good until I caught the expression on Woody's face. Now she looked annoyed at me too. You good? Please keep your hands off of that stuff. Thank you. Everyone was looking back and forth between me and the hulking figure Jones, wondering whether social studies was about to get interesting. I take offense to that. But Dowd stepped smoothly into the silence and assigned a chapter to read for homework. Luckily for me, it was more stuff I already knew. This way, if Jones broke all my fingers right after class, I wouldn't have to try turning the pages with a bulky cast on. When the bell rang, I took my time packing up my backpack. If I scurried out of the room, I'd look like a coward. Well, I was a coward, but there was no need to advertise it. A shadow fell over me, a wide shadow. I looked up from my fascinating bag zipping activities, and Jones was leaning over my desk. His massive, veiny arms bulged with power as he put his weight on them. But his face wasn't in kill mode. In fact, he was sort of rueful. He had this sort of rueful grin going. Woody and Dowd, who were the only other two in the room, looked on with interest as Jones's growls swept over me. "Good one, Buddha boy. You're pretty funny." I tried to paste the mysterious half smile onto my face, but I suspected it looked a little bit sickly as Jones punched me playfully in the arm and walked out of the room with Woody. Dang. Dowd said, "Hey, you really know your stuff, Sam. I'm impressed. Your social studies teacher back in, Houston?" "Right. Your social studies teacher back in Houston must be missing you right about now." I got the half grin up to speed as the feeling began to come back into my arm. I tried not to remember the last time I had seen good old Mrs. Brown at the courthouse on my last day in Texas. "I don't know, sir. She'll probably survive without me." "Well, I'm not sure I would have survived this class without you this period, so keep it up." I walked out of the room pondering. That was the first time I could remember a teacher ever saying, "Keep it up," to me without any sarcasm. It felt weird. Possibly good even, but weird good. I mean, are teachers good guys? Mrs. Brown used to let me bring home markers for those posters I mentioned. Dowd twinkled, helped me up off the floor, and actually praised me. But then again, teachers gave homework, they wrote me up, they gave more homework, they yelled at kids for being kids all day. Well, duh, we are kids. And sometimes even took an interest in their students' lives. Interested teachers had caused more than enough trouble to last a lifetime. All in all, it was a tough judgment call and a slippery slope. I mean, if teachers are good guys, then a person might have to decide that cafeteria ladies, school bus drivers, and even assistant principals could be okay sometimes, which would be a total betrayal of everything I believed in, insofar as I believed in anything. I whistled shyly, yet with a certain intelligence, and I left the building. My toes had a date with some gray slush.